Hey, it's Chris, Liege Games. Let's do this. Kickstarter Gamefound roundup this week. Obviously, we have a special co-host, as you can see here, the Eggknight himself. And we'll let you get in a few parts here, Eggknight, in a little bit. But, just wave hi to the folks at home. We'll get to you. Don't worry. We'll set you right here. And, we'll see what's going on. If you missed my Kingdoms Forlorn video, if you missed my thoughts on Deep Rock Galactic, if you missed anything else from earlier this week, click subscribe and go check out the videos. Otherwise, smash subscribe if you're not already, and let's go right into this because there's a lot to cover this week. Right, Eggknight? He agrees. Let's get cracking. Can I just take a second as a side note right here that I really like the Gamefound homepage here with the blown up graphics and also the 16 days left or the 6 days to launch when they have these pages up here. Now, I wish they almost sort of required all of them to have like days till launch. I've been getting way too many emails about Last Light from Gray Fox Games. Anyway, let's get to the campaigns though. That's really why you're tuned in. Okay, Ignite, we're going to try this take 2, because the first time we took this, I didn't have my little picture down at the bottom, and I thought that's slightly why you guys like this in the first place. Otherwise, you just see the Kickstarter page, and that's kind of boring. Although we go to the same hairstylist, Eggknight, we have a lot of dissimilarities too, but one of the things that we're both interested in is Kingdoms Forlorn. So let's talk about it, because since I filmed this the first time, and now I'm coming back to this, $750,000, many things unlocked, many things changing even from a day one perspective. And although Eggknight, you're going to take a back seat right now, even though you're guest hosting, we're going to talk about this. What do you need to know apart from my 54-minute diatribe talking about this game, breaking down the core mechanisms, the concepts, the exploration, the delve phase, and the clash phase? What do you need to know apart from that? 1 to 4 players into the unknown, where you are controlling knights in a dark fantasy dystopian, Shadows over Camelot, Monty Python-esque, but very dark realm, and you are going up against all of these creatures, standing on the shoulders of its predecessors like Kingdom Death Monster and its previous game from the same company, Aeon Trespass Odyssey, seeing what it's bringing new. Cooperative, narrative, exploration, card-based, roguelike exploration system where you are laying out a grid-based map, but then going into a KDM, Kingdom Death Monster style boss battle or minion style battle, grid-based, back and forth, AI, body part hitting style of game. Does that appeal to you? Now, they have a couple things that they're making different in this game in the first place. Like I said, the 2 separate phases. You also have an escalating battle where you are getting stronger the weaker you are. The more damage you take, the more you can dish out, the more mitigation you have, the more power you have in some ways and senses. And this is sort of the big difference that I think people were sort of on the fence about in the first 24 hours. But if you've been following along the 7 updates that have come out in the 3.5 days since then, this core pledge for $158 has definitely evolved and changed, and the $251 one has also done that. Now, $250 you're going to say for the pledge is a lot of money. $158 is a lot, but there was a lot of speculation because the Principality of Stone is the core of what they have being offered, but they have already introduced another kingdom that is going to be included already. There was concern that the other kingdoms were all going to be add-ons, and they would all be add-ons between like $50 and $75 and $100 because of the immensity of the core principality nation region, if you will, and if they were all going to be somewhat equal in size or even partiality in size, that it was just going to be a pile-on, and the all-in was going to be like $500, $600, $700. Well, maybe not now. They've got several things here that they've already unlocked. Followers, outposts. Again, different mechanics offering different pieces in the narrative, but also in the battle side of things. Offering different enemies in different areas. Rat wolves. We'll talk about rat wolves later, maybe. Hunters and ambushes. Again, I like this because I was a little bit, okay, this is very static in terms of the delve and the clash, but they're offering things that are offering a different variable. Like all of a sudden you're battling a boss monster, but the dragon is just going to sit on the other side of the field, and you can try and damage it, but it's just going to slowly disintegrate half the battlefield. So that's going to add a new nuance to what you're going to be doing. And they're adding new monsters, they're adding new wandering monsters on that exploration side. Again, here's the Sunken Kingdom offering a whole new thing where AI, tactics, ambush, poison as aspects of these minions. These are standees as well. So, I mean, you're getting a better price. It's not just all purely gray plastic, which is going to divide people. Personally, I like it. It's a lower cost point. I don't have to worry about painting it, but you have the painters, you have the collectors, you have the miniature lovers who are wanting it all that way as well. Now, some of it is going to be in the bigger expansion. Some extras you're getting even with daily unlocks. The Panzer Bridge board is changing the dynamic of the Panzer dynamic in the game itself. Panzers being the element that shifts around in the Principality of Stone that does not allow you to backtrack to previous ways that you have gone, blocking you and forcing you to go in different ways. And there's just more cool things. Drop in, drop out, different difficulties, everything else that you need to know. Escalating battles, and yeah, it's gonna be probably pretty hard. I mean, the level 1 against this old guy here, Eggknight, was, I mean, it wasn't bad, but I can definitely see how things would get escalated. And I reached out to them and I said, hey, you know, at those higher levels, is it going to be like Kingdom Death Monster where the mechanics actually change? Because when you fight the Eggknight, you learn, okay, I'm going to roll out of the way, he's going to hit the terrain, he's going to lose an armor piece, then I can damage him easier on those body parts. Well, you know, rinse and repeat, 8 or 10 times, and that's the battle. But if that changes at level 2 and level 3, okay, what is that going to look like? The hand size of the abilities that you can bring into battle as well gives it a slightly different taste and modification than Kingdom Death Monster, as well as the mitigation of some of your dice rolls that Kingdom Death Monster also doesn't allow. Kingdom Death Monster, you roll once and that's pretty much it. This, you have the ability to re-roll depending on your abilities, depending on your damage or your escalation that you're given as well. The only question is, do you like narrative? The significant half of the delve has more narrative. Do you want one or the other? Because I would argue that if you want one or the other, maybe this game isn't the right fit for you. But if you want both combined, this is sort of what I thought Tainted Grail might have been in the first place. This is, what is this? This is the Sunken Stone Principality. This is all the unlocks. Big freaking dragon, devil guy here, Puppet King. Again, all different bosses of different mechanics. There's you, Eggknight. Look, you have an appearance before I do on the page. Anyway, part 2 of 2, the other stuff here, of all the other stuff that you're getting. And then we get down to the 10,000 Succulent Fears. Succulent is a very unique word choice there. Anyway, so what you're getting here is a whole nother stretch goals, this huge dragon that's going to have different dynamics. The knights, the miniatures, the Night Eater, Bog Witch, and this Devour Dragon. Again, I kind of wish the Devour Dragon was like by itself like the other dragon. I mean, it's kind of cool sitting on the stone structure there, but at the same time, I wish it was separate. Some of my favorite stuff down here is like the Panzer Knight, if I can find him. Panzergeist. Sorry, Panzergeist. They go through the miniatures, everything you need to be from that aspect. They talk about the world, the principalities, and they talk about the different dynamics that I've already talked about. The growing threat level, the story decisions, the narrative, and the combat, what makes it different. So I've already kind of covered all of this. Some of the Night Eaters. I mean, there's definitely a Kingdom Death Monster there, like for like almost like the Kingsman. It gives me vibes of that if you've played Kingdom Death. Again, the Eggknight is a little bit of a parody, a little bit of a serious thing as well. The Puppet Knight, they go through some of the mechanics here. Again, being aware of what you have to do. You're having to deal with the power behind the throne, not just the thing that's attacking you. The devil, okay, the dragon that's going to just potentially just eat you up. And they allude to, or at least I would assume they're alluding to mechanics or mechanisms or actions or effects that this is going to cause. Hinder movement, grow, swarm, armor parasites, petrify, rust you. So, I mean, things like that. This is the guy I was talking about, the Panzergeist. This weapon that's way too big for it, but also says they're immune to mundane weapons. They can possess armor, but you can also maybe get their weapons if they have weapons that no man could wield in life. So maybe some cool things you're going to see there. Again, this page is just massive in terms of what it has on it. It runs through the 4 basic characters there that are in the game to start out with, plus a 5th stone face. TTS demo, and then we get into all the videos, including mine. Yay, 1, 2, and that's the 54-minute video. Check that out. I mean, when I say it's a deep dive, it's a deep dive. So everything that you want to know and more from everything that's in the prototype. The demo rulebook is out. The Nightbook demo is out as well, so you can see a little bit of what I had hands-on copies of as well. And that's everything. So again, there's going to be a lot more coming. So if you're on the fence with this, or if this doesn't appeal to you yet because you don't think you're getting a good value, check it out at the end, because I'm guessing that things are going to be drastically different with the unlocks and the stretch goals between now and 18 days later. So there you go, Kingdoms Forlorn, breaking it down as much as I can in this small section, all in one. There you go. Next up. I'm going to talk about this one for a minute because this is by Inside Up Games. I am a fan of Inside Up Games because I backed their previous game, Bloc and Key, sort of a Tetris 3D aspect abstract game with multi-levels. And so this one was a surprise for me because, one, the price point right here, $42. For a game like this, when we break it down here in a little bit, really seems like a good price. And it has 3 mechanisms that I love the idea of: engine building, hand management, and tableau. It's killing it. It's 158,000. So that's pretty amazing. 3,100 people. And the only thing I will say is a detriment for me personally, but this is something I'm always willing to overlook, is because I don't judge a book by a cover, that, the theme is not the on surface most appealing to me from the earth nature sort of aspect. At the same time, when you have these keywords here and when you have certain mechanics down here, like they say, with the, let's see, where is it? Using your actions in terms of one person gets the major and then all the other people get the minor, then you have me won over. And so that's what I love seeing, is because I have plenty of games in my collection that I look at and I go, on the surface, I shouldn't like this game. Ginkopolis, I should not be liking that game whatsoever. Glenmore 2 Chronicles, I shouldn't be liking that game on the surface. But the management of the actions and the mechanisms are vastly appealing, and that's where this one is very similar. And I think highly of those games in my collection, so that's saying something. Tableau, and I think this one's going to be a little bit deeper than it seems. I mean, 6 different actions or phases that you're going through really is a little bit deeper from that. Three videos from Quackalope there. 4 videos, sorry. A lot of video there. And you're getting, a little bit of extra, I think, as well, with the 12 event cards, holiday cards, I think they called them. True Solo. And the question is just going to be whether or not you want some of these add-ons. A wooden insert. The problem with wooden inserts is it makes the game box too heavy to lug around easily. The neoprene mats look awesome, but again, I'm not sure I would pay the extra. That's my biggest difficulty with these, and especially because you have to store these outside of the box sometimes. But I'd say this is a really good value, to be frank. $43 for what you're getting. This was, if I had guessed at this prior to launch, that it would have been more of a, like 50, 60, especially with a little bit of deluxification with the wooden components. So, yeah, I mean, you can check out everything here. Again, you're creating an island in an ecosystem. You're choosing the actions, again, of the one of the 4 that you want. It activates, and then everyone else gets that minor benefit. Then you're getting whatever it may be of those pieces or cards, allocating them in your tableau, but it's a 4x4, activating whatever abilities you want, and then first one to complete all 16 triggers the end game. So I mean, it's not complicated, it's not complex, and it's, again, hour to an hour and a half max. It's nice. That's why it's doing so well. Check it out if you're interested. Now, again, I apologize to Earth and Tindaya. I had them both on my list of games we're going to be launching last week, and I just completely, screwed them up. I apologize. I was in the middle of 10 days of working in a row, so either way, though, these are both killing it. They clearly don't need my help. $64,000 here, too. I had a copy of this. Red Moho Games sent me a copy, and I checked it out. And I dare say, when this is more of a Euro game, this is more of a Euro game. This is a heavier version, a deeper, more complex, more moving parts. If that sounds similar to something like, the closest thing I can compare it to is Spirit Island. Now, again, this is going to be almost double the price, though, of Earth previously that we just mentioned. So that's the other aspect that you need to know. This is 15th century, Canary Islands. Conquistadors are setting their eyes on you, and you are battling them off in terms of invaders. But you have 2 gods that you have to appease as well. Otherwise, terrible events and weather phenomenon and volcanoes and things like that happen. you are shaping the land, merging the islands, interacting all the same. Now, there are 3 modes, solo, cooperative, and competitive. So that'd be the only thing that I would worry about is in a game like this, are one of the modes or 2 of the modes better than the third? I mean, Spirit Island doesn't need a strict solo mode that's different from the cooperative mode. You know, you play it two-hander, you just play it solo. I wouldn't want to play Spirit Island competitive. So I guess that would be the question, because do you really want that? Would you really need that? Now, again, they say straight out deluxe. There's only a deluxe level. They're going at the higher level, getting you higher components just from the get-go, trays, miniatures, and you're going to get it before everybody else. That's the incentive. This is the little exclusive right up here. This is the hex-based grid system that you're using, and everything else that goes along with it. Again, I can't speak too much to the mechanisms. It was a little bit too heavy for me in terms of what it was bringing, but I'll say that it seems like a very, very solid game. So if this is up your interest as a thematically different Euro-style mechanism game, I think you're going to be relatively pleased by this. See, guess I'm not the only one. Brain burniness of Spirit Island. But again, for me, it was €2. It was too heavy, and I flat out said that to the designer. You know, like I appreciated it, and I appreciated the chance to try it, but it was not for me. I mean, this is one where I think I'd want someone who really understood it to explain it, because otherwise, you know, it's a little bit heavier than the things I normally play. And you can see through all the actions here and all of the board pieces that, like I said, there's a lot going on. Apart from that, I think you need to check it out for yourself. I think you need to check out the rulebook right here and see whether or not it's like for you, because the idea of it is very similar to something like Voidfall, I guess I would say, where the concept of it sounds really good to me. The ability for me to get a game like this to the table and with my group would be much less so. And so that's why I don't think I'd ultimately be able to do it, because I think you're really talking like a 2-3 hour game easily when you're playing Tindaya. But if you're interested, again, massive amounts of video, hopefully by the end of the year. And there you go. Volcanoes are no game. Anyway, sorry. That's it. That's Tindaya. So check it out if you're interested. The other one on Gamefound that launched this week, Out of Order Games, the 3rd edition Block by Block Uprising. And I am actually backing this if I was logged in here. But is this for you? Now, the only interesting thing for this, oh look, I am actually logged in. Backer 1,255. Again, I really give them a lot of props for this because there's only one pledge level. This is 3rd edition. The first 2 editions are basically not being produced or sold out, and they've upgraded it. They've made it better. People are split though on Board Game Geek. People either seem to like it or not. It's depending on what you feel. It's got like a 7.2 rating, which is still really good. What are you getting new though, and what are you doing in this? Well, the rulebook's right here. I read through the rulebook. I mean, you're basically one of these 4 factions: uprising, rioting, overthrowing, controlling against the police and the government, if that sounds, applicable to anything recently. 3-minute board games, one-stop co-op shop, Space Biff, all pretty much give it relatively good praise. And so that's saying something, and this is a hard co-op game, so you know that I'm going to be interested in it automatically. Now, $44, again, is lower than the price than I thought it was going to be, because they said at the bottom they are outsourcing the production this time to China. Say what you will about that. I'll take it either way. I'm not going to argue with you in the comment section about that. Previously produced in the USA, but they were getting, it sounds like, much significantly higher prices than the last time they had done it. And even, a month out from production, potentially, they said that they couldn't lock in a price. So do what you got to do. Upgrades for previous people, 6-pack if you're like that. Not the kind of 6-pack that you might be thinking, but a 6-pack of games. And all the pieces that you're getting, because this is a grid-based board system that you are navigating, traversing as one of 4 factions, anywhere from a 1 to 4 player count. But if you're playing as a solo, you're still controlling 2 factions, so it's not like a true solo, different game solo. It's more of a multi-handed solo. And you are one of the 4 factions, like I mentioned: prisoners, workers, neighbors, and students, that are all going to have slightly asymmetric strengths and weaknesses against the police. And you are patrolling, area controlling, drawing up, trying to win. Now, the semi-cooperative part is you all have a secret agenda, potentially, although they say the first couple times you play it, not to do that. So you could completely eliminate it and not have any loss of gameplay aspect either. So, again, there you go. The fabric map playing aid. I like that. I like that. I like that. Again, that's it. That's it. That's all you need to know. So, again, that's why I'm backing. I'm probably going to be keeping this one. I'd be surprised if I canceled it, but that's Block by Block. Check it out. The next one that I am most excited about as well is this one. It's called Sum 8. It's an abstract, clever strategy game, and it is just about funded. You can see that I am backing, and I am backing at a higher level than I probably should be. And why am I doing that? Because you see this picture right here, and this is sort of a plastic version of it, where you're putting down these pieces, and they have to either sum up to 8, or you're completing these little figure 8s, and so that's sort of how you're scoring. But there is the Classic Edition, but there's also a freaking fantastically looking wooden edition. And so if I'm going to get this game, I would love to save money. And because the price point, unfortunately, is a ton different. It's $28 for the Classic Edition. It's $75 for the wooden edition. And so I'm really tempted by this. I don't know if I would downgrade because I really like the look of this wood on here. I had to end that. I had to add that end. I had to add that ending to that sentence because otherwise we were going to get into an Archer phrasing situation. So how do you play this game essentially is all you're doing is matching up pips that are equal when you place a piece down, or they have to add up the pips on the 2 adjacent pieces that you're making, add up to 8, or you make one of those big 8s, you just add up all the points, you have a 3x3 or a 3x4 grid depending on how big you want to play, and that's it. I love the concept of this. I love games like this. I just got into Czar. I have Yinch. I have Zerts. I have Tak. I have Hive. I love games like this. And so this looks right up my ilk. It's just whether or not I want to pay $75 as opposed to, literally almost a third of the price for a game like this that make it, that much more aesthetically pleasing. So anyway, I'm super interested by this. I think it's worth a shout out. I think you guys need to look at this. And that's why I like talking about this stuff, because otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, stuff like this falls under the radar, even though a bunch of channels have videos out on it. There's only 53 of us backing right now. So please give them some support if you're interested. There you go, Sum 8. Next one up, we have Retrograde. And this was an interesting one. I mean, this game is a real-time roll and write game that I talked about last week with the old-style Invaders-esque theme. And I mean, it's got $4,700, which is really good, actually, for a game when it's going up against this stiff of competition. But they have a $22,500 funding goal, which makes me think already that they're probably not going to fund, which is, again, sort of why $22,500? I mean, that's a ton of money. Now, they have several other projects like Phantom Inc., Surrealist Dinner Party, and Mechanica, which have funded relatively well. But again, I wonder if the funding goal was, $5,000 or $10,000, if we'd be already well past that because of the weird optics on Kickstarter nowadays and crowdfunding in general. You roll your dice, you match combos shown on the target cards, and you claim the best target card and spend your dice to put the chains of little guys coming down out of commission. So this is sort of like a roll and write and bullet combined. And so, again, I didn't even look at this page beforehand, so I don't know what the price is. Print and play, okay. The only problem with a print and play is I hate the fact that I'm not good about getting dice from other games. And so that'd be the biggest problem. But $27, that's probably the biggest issue, is you need a ton of copies to get to $22,000 with only a $27 price point. I really like this, though. But the question is, again, if you're saying its retail price is going to be $30, why am I getting it now for $3 less? Especially if I'm going to pay shipping and I might not be shipping later. Again, support small publishers, but again, what's the issue? They run through the mechanics here. So what are you getting in terms of the unlock stretch goals here? Insert, okay. Fancy dice, nah. Okay, I mean, I almost think this needed like a little expansion included. You all of a sudden you throw in a $5 or $10 expansion at that price, and you say that the base game is going to be 30 at retail, and you say expansion may be limited availability. I mean, that's the marketing that we see, and that's the marketing that works. So they say at the bottom there, as I skimmed back up, the only exclusivity is the price. So I'd be interested to watch it and see where it goes. I obviously have it saved. I might even back it here in the next day or two, but I'm concerned that if it's only going to get this on the first day and the competition it's going up against, if it doesn't have some more momentum, it may not fund, and we may see it again later this year. So anyway, Retrograde, if you're interested, give us some early support so it gets more of that momentum. Next up, Trinity of Reign. I talked about this one as well. Almost 100% funded here in less than a day. So this is really interesting. $31,000 goal, and strategy, unique kingdom building, city building, area control game with miniatures. Now, again, a couple quotes here. Alex from Board Game Co. He's everywhere. And it's definitely different. I don't know. Again, area control always sort of turns me off, especially when area control with miniatures. I have found that area control and miniatures are not my ilk. See games in my collection that I have gotten rid of, Blood Rage and Rising Sun, and a game that I'm trying to get rid of, Ankh, which, you know, I didn't actually buy. I got in a trade. So don't look at me too harshly. Don't judge me too much. Eggknight, I'm looking at you. I see you over there looking at me in the corner, judgingly with your cracked shell. I know why. Kickstarter exclusive add-ons, stretch goals, early bird. Add-on alternative map for free. That's incentive. I'll give them that. That's an incentive. On the back of the game board for free. So, ew, that's interesting. How are you going to do that? So you're going to print, if you're an early bird, you're going to print one board and design those all in one box. And then if you don't get the early bird, you're going to have a whole separate box. That's tricky. I'm not sure I would necessarily do that. That's a little troublesome potentially from a manufacturing side of things. Could you imagine like getting the wrong box and having only, anyway, alternative map there for this? Yeah, that's tricky. I'm not sure I like that actually. I like the idea of having extra, but I'm not sure I would be okay with that. Just a logistical nightmare, I feel like. Some stretch goals, 3 winning conditions, religious, military, or wealth, that you would expect. Here they run through a little bit of what you're doing. Get money, take your actions gathering ingredients, buying the stuff that you need to do before you move, place, and fight. So, area control all over the place, rules is right there, and a few videos as well. So, more than a few videos in like 6 or 8 languages. So, there you go. I mean, clearly, I think they said this was a relaunch. Did I just see that down here somewhere? No, improvements based on things that were said in the videos or from people playing it. So, there you go. Though, it's gonna fund. It's gonna be there in a minute or a day or so. So, if you're interested, Trinity of Reign, if I can pronounce that right. This next one intrigues me. I haven't looked at any of these other pages so far, so you're going to be getting my off-the-cuff reaction on all of these. But all of these are funded, so I wanted to include them all, especially as small indie games. Doublehead Kids 3rd Edition and new game Doppelkopf 2.0. Classic German trick-taking game. I'm intrigued. Completely rethought. So again, it's got $3,700 backing already, which is pretty good. I have no idea, though, sometimes with trick-taking games. Trick-taking games are one of those where I really have to play them to get a good feel for them. I'm not good at judging them, even though I have played a couple recently. They've got it in German as well as English on the page. They've got a video here as well. That's cool. And they have even an English review here, if you go over to Board Game Geek. So I know nothing about this game, but just reading through this, I like what I'm seeing already, because you're playing with 9 to ace in cards, but you have 2 copies of each card, a deck of 48, but half of those cards act as a separate trump suit rather than the suit printed on them. I'm already intrigued because if you are aware of where I'm from Michigan, and we do euchre here. And euchre has crazy weird trump where if it's the trump suit, the jack of the same color in the opposite suit is actually the second strongest card. So I like seeing things like this. Secret partnerships. Okay, I'm in. Okay. Well, that's all I needed to see. How much money am I spending on this? 17 for that. 22 for the double heads with white expansion, all cards in white, challenges expansion, stretch goals. The basic edition of the 2.0 is 22, 33 for the deluxe, so 6-player expansion, and transparent card box. Okay, I'll be figuring this out afterwards. Different edition there. If you want both, it's $56. That's a lot of money for a trick-taking game, but I'm definitely intrigued by this. I don't need coasters. I don't want coasters. Give me a cheaper game. I think this is cool, though. This is the sort of stuff, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is the sort of stuff that I love seeing on here and talking about here. Ideally, a 4-person trick-taking game. This is one I love. We play euchre all the time. We play euchre with my family, my wife's family, and almost on any get-together that we're at. So I would really be interested in being able to play this. 2 players against 2 players. That's not here, and it's not clear who's with who. So do I need both? That'll be the question. Okay, maybe I don't need Doublehead Kids. So maybe I'm just going to get Doppelkopf. So I'll take a look at this later, but if you want a trick-taking game for your kids, that'd be interesting. If you just want a trick-taking game for your adults and your game group, check it out. Gosh, I did not need to know about this. I will be backing this probably after this video is done, and whether or not I keep it is another issue, but Doppelkopf is seriously calling my name. So there you go. Next up, Automated Alice. No idea, but the title was intriguing, right? It's got $1,600 of a $29 goal. Cooperative murder mystery dice game. 50 dice, though. How do you... Oh, I guess they're just generic dice. 50 dice for, you know what? Let's see. $29 or $39. You're getting a side print at the $39. Limited quantities, 7 days only. Already funded, multiple stretch goals. Oh, wow, they're in hand. Once the campaign ends in 7 days, games are going to be shipping. So, that's interesting. Free Alice Mini with every game pledged. So what are you doing, though, right? Cooperative dice placement game. You are going to be taking the role of Alice and her twin and collecting clues to clear out everyone's name. This is interesting. I did not expect to like this either, but if you look at this, it's sort of like the real-time bullet-esque, only with dice, where you have to play down these ones. This is what the ability does if you get the card. And these are, you know, the abilities here, and then this is the copycat ability where you have to have a total of some of these dice up to 18 or greater. So that's just kind of cool. It gives you 4 different ways of doing it. Is your group going to agree on where you want to place the dice? You're going to be having it in real time. You're going to have 6 different files, essentially characters, that are going to have special abilities that you can use anytime you go to that location. I mean, I don't need extra dice, but I was just complaining about not having extra dice for other games, so that's kind of cool. Clock tracker, dice tracker, playthrough reviews. Yeah, this is cool. I like this. This is why, again, this is why I do this video. If you see this game featured on any other channel, let me know. But this is also one that I feel like people overlook and they miss out on cool things that aren't going to be widely available. So this is indie. Again, I am going to be hitting remind me on this. So I did not need to know about that, but it's $29. So I'm going to check it out and see what they got going on later. Legacy's Allure, CCG. CCG, I'm just going to put that out there. CCG, $18,000 of $20,000. No idea. We're just going to say it's a CCG, and if you like Knight's an alternative Magic-like game with very similar aesthetic with a little bit of difference, I'm just going to put it out there for you that you can come check this one out. I don't really cover CCGs or TCGs too much on this game and on this channel anymore, so there's some video here, Dice Tower preview, a little bit of everything. Shelfside has a review too, so that's awesome. Shelfside are great. Wish I was half as funny as them. A lot of these are Magic the Gathering channels and card game channels, I think, too, because I've never heard of Desolator Magic, but I'm assuming it's a Magic the Gathering channel, and those channels have a lot of following too. So yeah, I'm not surprised it's funded, or almost funded, I mean, because again, the TCGs and CCGs really have a big following. But again, why do this one over another one is always the question. So thought I'd just mention it for you guys. Legacy's Lure. Next up, also words I never thought I'd say on the channel, Crabs in a Bucket. Crabs in a Bucket, almost 200% funded. 2 to 6 player card game, and you have crabs. You got crabs. Anyway, so what are you doing, though, in this game? 6 rule cards that are going to be, you know, double-sided that tell you what you're going to be doing. Joker crabs, suited cards. Okay, good. What are you doing, though? Do we have any explanation on the page itself beyond the price and of a couple of videos? A couple cool pins with crabs, some stretch goals here that are probably true stretch goals, a little bit of extra stuff, little social media goals. How do you play? Okay, here we go. Based on real crabs, everybody has their unique ability. So how you play is you're going to be discarding these cards by suit, either matching them of suit or a card number in a certain direction. A little bit of a video there, and you have cards, obviously, with special abilities that are going to shift your ability to play them in the first place. You'll have it by, what, the end of the year? Yeah, before the end of the year. Again, this is just kind of a nice little cool game. I can see why it's funded. It's straightforward. What is the price here? 2 copies for $45, so 1 is $25. Free shipping. Free shipping, though. Yeah, I can see why it's funded. And it went with a low funding goal of $5,000. Again, like Retrograde. I think Retrograde would be funded if it was at $5,000, and they'd probably be trending higher. So that's, again, I don't know how big of a deal that is when it comes to that funding goal. And, you know, again, we've seen funding goals where campaigns are setting them too low, and then even if they're surpassing it, they don't, you know, fund. They don't, you know, keep the campaign. They still cancel. But with these smaller ones, I just don't know. Like, I don't know the logistics of that, so I defer to them, but it's always an interesting test to see what does and what doesn't. We're going to give a shout out here to Mind Management Secret Missions at the end as this winds down. By the time you guys are viewing this, this will almost be done. Secret Missions over $500,000. I think the over-under from last week's was $500,000. So, again, everyone loves it. Getting secret envelopes, getting the wooden upgrade kit, or getting... I didn't know there were playing cards on there. I must have missed that last time, or I forgot. And everybody else loves it. Look at this. Everybody else loves it. I didn't play my copy in 2021, so it's probably going to be on my list for 2022 if I like it that much, which there's a good chance that I will. Yeah. Free gift. One more card to the secret mission. Deluxe edition. Deluxe, deluxe, deluxe. So, again, if you're at all on the fence, this is your last chance to check it out. But that's Mind Management. Everyone else loves it. Maybe you will too. But also, if it's not for you, don't convince yourself otherwise either. Spend your money what's right for you. Deep Rock Galactic has also put out, well, not only have they broken 2 million, they put out a gameplay video in one of the latest updates. So if you are on the fence for Deep Rock Galactic, check out the gameplay and see if it's, again, for you or not from this scenario-based 1 to 4 player IP-based video game as a board game. Again, I think a lot of people, just like several of the other video games, are going in this because they're super heavy with this. And some of the video comments responding to my Deep Rock Galactic were, well, yeah, I'm super interested in the video game, and if this was something else, I might not be as interested. And you know what? That's completely okay. You know what? I do not fault people one bit for doing that. I mean, like, Marvel United, I probably wouldn't have been as interested in if it wasn't Marvel. So, you know what? Do right for you. So if you're in on this, I think that's awesome. And if it's right for you after watching this gameplay and you're even more convinced, awesome. And you know what? I think the standee version is actually a pretty good deal. So I'll put that out there. 14,000 people. But if it's not for you or you're on the fence right now, that means 14,000 people. There's a good chunk of those that are going to be selling it on the secondary market. So you can probably wait too and be okay. Because I haven't seen too much on this page that's either Kickstarter exclusive or exclusive from a promo standpoint. So you might be okay there as well. That's it. That's all I got. Second take, not as bad. It was okay. I'll take it. Okay. Eggknight, you didn't get as much time, airtime hosting on version 2 as you did on version 1. But, let's go to you. What do you think of the Kingdoms Forlorn expansion so far? Wait. I know what you're going to say. It was excellent. No, you weren't going to say that? You were just going to say it was awesome so far? And you got me to say that bad pun anyway on camera? Oh, okay, thanks. Oh, and the yoke's on me? Thanks. Thanks a lot, Eggknight. Okay, we're done. We're done. Your hosting duties are over for today. That's all I got. That's all I got today. Tune in for more Eggknight adventures and hosting in the future. What else do we got going on? Upcoming video for tomorrow. A couple random small reviews. Join the Patreon. That's all I got. I got nothing else. Kid's super obsessed about Super Mario Deluxe right now. So we're playing Super Mario Deluxe 3-player. Let me tell you, boy, is that a cluster. Because you all play a Mario level at the same time. Holy cow. A 6-year-old who doesn't play very well and just does whatever he wants. The 8-year-old who kind of does it, but kind of also just does, he's me-centric, so boom. And then me actually trying to navigate somewhere in between that. And let me tell you, it's a cluster. It is a total, utter cluster. I mean, it's kind of fun, but you got the 8-year-old yelling at the 6-year-old. You've got me getting frustrated with both of them. And then, you only start out with, like, so many lives. So then, like, you don't, like, lose, but you have to get, like, continues. So the 6-year-old is up to, like, we just got to, like, the 3rd world. And we're up to, I think he's up to, like, 9 continues already. And the 8-year-old just got up to, like, 4 continues just with, like, or 5 continues just with the, like, last world alone. Like, he wasn't on any continues before that. So, 3 Mario characters all going in the same or different directions that can bump into each other and hit each other and knock into each other and bounce off each other and push each other accidentally down into pits all at the same time. That's what we're talking about here. So anyway, that's all I got. End board game rant over there. Fiend done. Boom. There you go. Have a great day. Stay classy. See you around.